Hi, I'm Kim Barnes.
And I'm Mike Barnes.
We're Barnes Team Media, and we're excited to spend a few minutes with you to help you prepare and be more comfortable with Zoom and how to show up well.
Because Zoom and all virtual platforms are kind of the way things are right now, especially the way the world is these days. Whether you're in school, at work, interviewing for a job, everything is through a virtual platform. So you've got to look your best, be your best, and communicate through a camera to connect with the other people.
We know that there are some things that we can do or not do that impact the way that we're perceived. So just for an example, if you meet a new classmate or a new teacher and you have a conversation, sometimes you might walk away and think, I just didn't really connect with them, but you're not necessarily sure why. Well, it could be that they never looked at you in the eye and made eye contact with you during that conversation, so it just made you feel a little bit awkward. Those same kinds of things can happen when you're online as well, and we want to help you avoid those.
I think we all feel a little bit awkward when we're on camera for the first time. We're just not used to it. It's like, no, just keep it away. The bad thing is different parts of our personality kind of rise up to help us make us feel a little bit better. We become a laugher or a leaner, a rambler, a reader, a nervous Nelly, an ummer, a whisperer, so many things that come out. It's kind of funny at times, but it's not the best that we can be. We're not being ourselves and really connecting with the viewer.
So we want to show you some things that you can control so that you know you're going to look and sound good and be able to then be more effective and engaging in your conversations.
Exactly.
If you're wondering why we're the ones teaching this, we've both been on television for 30 years.
Kim was a news anchor and reporter. I was in sports as a sports anchor. We covered lots of national stories, lots of big stories. We've been on camera for more than 30 years each. We know how to connect with the viewer.
And we want to help make sure that you don't show up like this. Okay, be honest. Have you shown up at a meeting or a class like that?
I think we've seen lots of people like that over the last few months.
And we know that when people are distracted by all the things that might be going on around us, what are they focused on? They're focused on the distraction and not on you or what you're saying.
So we don't want a distraction. Nothing like what we just saw. Make sure people are focused on you and what people are saying on the screen.
First exercise I have for you is I want you to grab your phone. I know it can't be far away, and I want you to take a selfie. I know it seems a little bit weird, but not smiling.
She's setting you up for failure. Be ready.
If you need just a second, pause the video, go take your selfie, and then come back. But I want to show you a couple things that I think will be helpful for you to know. First, look at the photo that you took of yourself and see, how does the expression on your face look? Do you look interested, engaged, excited, or do you look bored and annoyed maybe? It's good to know that, because however you are showing up is the way, the impression you're going to be making. Is it the impression that you're intending to make?
So many times when we're unsure about what we're doing, working with Zoom and all the technology, oh my gosh, I'm a little bit nervous, I'm on camera. So you have that bad look on your face, that not pleasant look on your face. And that's the first impression that you're going to make to whoever is watching you and you're going to be joining on this Zoom meeting. And you know what they say about the first impression?
You never get a second chance to make a first impression. So you want to make a good one. Now, the other reason why I wanted you to take that photo is take a look at yourself and who are you looking at? And what I mean by that, when you took the photo, were you looking at yourself on the screen or were you looking up here at the camera?
So many people look at themselves because they're used to looking in a mirror. Because we're used to that. Okay, I'm going to look at myself down here. Whoops, that's not at the lens.
And if we want to make a connection with the person that we're talking to, because if you were to meet somebody in person, you would never go up to them and talk to them like this, because that would feel a little bit weird. You would look at them in the eye to make eye contact. And while we're on Zoom, our eyes are drawn to the people on the screen, our classmates, our teachers. So we want to look down. But if we are talking and we want them to feel like we're talking right to them, if I want you to feel like I'm talking right to you, I have to look up at the lens. It makes such a huge difference in the way they're going to feel because we know that we want to be making eye contact when we're talking. Now, if they're talking, you might want to be looking down because it doesn't have to be a staring contest.
Exactly. Don't have to stare at the lens. If you need to look down at someone who's talking on the screen, look down over here. If you need to look down at your notes, that's okay. But come back up. Look at the lens. Let those eyes hit the lens. Imagine that other person on the other side of the lens and connect with them.
If you want them to feel like you're making eye contact, remember to look at the camera. And just know that it does feel really unnatural to do this. And we also want to make sure that we're not having shifty eyes. We don't want to just be glancing to the side because that just makes us look a little shifty.
I always say move that chin. Move the chin to wherever you're going to look. That way you don't look shifty-eyed.
And while it does feel unnatural to look at the camera, just remember that that is how we make eye contact and that's how we make the connection. And remember, it's different than when we're just FaceTiming with a friend, which is why we often are used to looking down at ourselves or we're having that conversation. But we just need to make sure that to remember, look at the lens if we want them to feel like we're talking right to them.
Because that connection is so important to make. Other good way to make a connection is having a good angle. Look at me here on the left. I've got the laptop. It's down near my knees. And what do? I just push the laptop back and now I'm shooting the camera up my nose. What a terrible looking that shot that is for anybody, but especially for me. Oh my gosh, I look terrible. So what do I need to do? Raise that camera up. I put the computer on top of a box, a couple of big baseball books, whatever it takes to get the camera lens basically at eye level. It can be a couple inches low or a couple inches high. That's okay, but pretty close to eye level so you're on the same plane as the person you're dealing with on this virtual platform.
So important. It makes such a better impression. The other thing that you really want to make sure of is that they can see you clearly. And if you have bright windows behind you, then see how your face gets silhouette. And so we can't see your eyes. And how do we connect with people is through our eyes. So you want to make sure you don't have a bright window behind you. You want to have more light in front of you.
A lot of us get, especially when we're at home, we get into a place and we think, oh, this beautiful window behind us. We can show the backyard, show the trees, show the grass. Oh, that'll look so nice. But that bright light will make you look like this. You don't want that. Make sure all the bright light is in front of you. You can have some light behind you. It's okay to have a little bit of light, but most of the light needs to be in front of you, shining on your face to make you look the best you can be.
And you also want to be thinking about what is the background? What are my surroundings? What do they look like? And you just want to make sure that they're not distracting. I know you often don't have very many options when you're at home, but you want to just look for options that just won't be distracting. You don't want to have a pole coming out of your head or a frame coming out of your head or something that, again, will have them focused on the distraction and not on you.
Because we want everything focused on what you're having to say.
And to do that, we need to make sure that they can also hear you well. So it's really helpful if you can to use even just simple little headphones so that you have a microphone here so that that'll just help your audio be cleaner and crisper to the person you're speaking with and not pick up all those potential distractions that you have at home, whether it's a parent or another sibling or a dog barking or whatever.
Distraction can be tough. I remember when I was in elementary school, the school I was in, we didn't have true walls. There's just like dividers between the classrooms. And I'd be sitting there, I'd hear the teacher in the other classroom saying something fun. I was like, wait, what did she say? I want to listen to them and not to my teacher. Well, it's the same thing here. Keep those headphones on. That way you're only concentrating on what you need to hear.
And that way you'll be able to have a great conversation because you hear them and they hear you and you're all focused in on the same conversation.
Exactly.
Now I want to show you a few things that are going to be important to know about Zoom to help you have the best experience possible as well.
Sharing the screen is so big. We were sharing the screen earlier with a PowerPoint, and here's how you do it. You hit to share the screen. You have different options. We're going to share the desktop so you can see everything on our desktop right now. So we share the screen. Now you see the desktop, and let's start with the mute button over here. Make sure that you can turn it on or turn it off if need be.
Turn it off. Did want to talk while I was turning it off, but that way you can see that you can turn it off real quickly. It's helpful if your teacher calls on you to make sure that you know how to respond quickly because chances are you'll have it muted most of the time.
You'd think so.
Also important to know how to turn your video off if you need to as well. So if you turn it off and you have a free account on Zoom, you can load a picture. So it'll have your picture or it'll show your name.
There's also the chat feature, which is also so fun because you don't want to interrupt a teacher or another student or something like that. You can just type them a message and ask a question during class to ask the teacher like that. Makes it so easy. Or you can just say hi.
So great way to communicate when you may have yourself muted and you want to just chime in for just a minute. So absolutely, chat is a great feature. Breakout rooms are also something that you might use in class. Chances are that your teacher will initiate that, but it's still just good to know where it is and how to interact with it.
It's like kind of like being divided into groups in your classroom. It's the same thing with the breakout rooms. And I love the reactions. Look what you have here. You have so many different things. You can do claps, you can do thumbs up, you can do a heart. Don't you think the teacher, when she says or he says something great, if they got a clap on there, make of their day, right?
That's right. And often if we're muted, we can't hear it if we're clapping. So this is another great way to be able to interact and be able to help it be a great experience for you learning, but also for your teacher as well.
Yeah, there are lots of other different things as far as raising your hand and different things like that. But there's a big thing here on the video caret, so to speak, the little arrow next to the stop video button, going to your video settings.
This will show you a couple of different things. One is you have the ability to enable HD, which is just going to give you the best quality video that you can. Only thing to keep in mind though is that's also going to use a little bit more internet bandwidth. So if you have challenges with your bandwidth, that's something that you could try. If you have that stopping and starting video or you have garbled audio, you could try turning off the HD to try to give yourself a little bit more juice, if you will, because chances are you may have other people in your home and or in your neighborhood. Everybody's on the internet at any given time.
It's a little bit of a challenge right now. There are some other options like mirroring your video, which basically turns it around if you need to make sure you read something correctly that's on a book or on your shirt or something like that. Touch Up My Appearance is very, very popular.
I do like that one. It just sort of smooths out your complexion. Now, you're young, you probably don't need it, but tell your parents they might like this one.
Adjusting for low light, displaying the names. A really big one though is always show video preview dialog when joining a video meeting.
And that's going to allow that before you join the meeting, a little screen will come up, kind of like the one that we have here on the screen, and it'll show you what you look like, and you can even test your microphone before you join the meeting, and that way you're not still shuffling around when the meeting actually starts.
Check your hair, check your background, check your lighting. Makes you so you're not making that bad first impression.
So many different things that you can do to just really help you hopefully have the best experience again for your online learning or your meetings or interviews that you may have coming up, and just help you just feel as comfortable and engaged as possible to help you have a great experience and have the other people that you're communicating have a great experience as well.
It's something that's so important right now in the world that we're living in right now, but it's going to be that for a while to come, not only because of what's happening in the world, but just in the way modern technology. So many people do interviews now on Zoom or other virtual platforms. So many people do so many different things that's through a virtual platform, whether it's meeting with people, prospective members of organizations, meeting with job coworkers, something like that. So this is going to be a value for you for years to come.
And if this is something that you think you would like a little bit more help with, or maybe your parents have a business that they would like help with as well, we do virtual communication training, we do on-camera training, and we do media training, and we'd love to be a resource for you. Here's our website. It's barnestmedia.com.
Hopefully you'll remember, always #
Look at the lens.